para llenarme de ti, llenarme de ti, llenarme de ti. Quiero en tus manos abiertas buscar mi camino y que te sientas mujer solamente conmigo. Hoy tengo ganas de ti, hoy tengo ganas de ti. Quiero apagar en tus labios la sed de mi alma y descubrir el amor juntos cada mañana. Hoy tengo ganas de ti, hoy tengo ganas de ti.
All right, welcoming Mayor Pugh to the Latino Providers Network. All right, it's my pleasure, es mi honor introducir a la alcaldesa de la ciudad, Mayor Pugh. Just a secret, she lives in my neighborhood and sometimes we find each other jogging. My stepdad does.
We do.
So please welcome Madam Mayor Pugh to the Latinos Providers Network Heritage Month celebration. Thank you, Mayor Pugh, for being here.
So first, let me say thank you to my neighbor. And he's absolutely right. We do find each other early in the morning, jogging, walking. Okay.
We're at Ross too.
Let me also say this. Yesterday, I was leaving the game, and as I stopped on Martin Luther King Boulevard, the car next to me was playing this beautiful Latino music. And the gentleman looked over at me, he goes, "Oh, Mayor, Mayor, Mayor." So I was like, great music. So David, I want to say thank you. I know we've got some honorees this afternoon, but I want to thank you for the growth of the Providers Network. You know, in every segment of our community are Latinos, and we're so excited. As you all know, we're a welcoming city. And that means we open our doors, we open our arms to every single opportunity that we can in this city, because we believe in this population, we believe in the growth of this community, and we know that you're a very integral part of our city. And yeah, that deserves a round of applause. The work of this community is built on hard work. And we believe in your commitment to Baltimore City. And so I get excited every time I hear about the growth of this community, because we believe that the growth of Baltimore City is going to be partly the growth that you all continue to have in our city. And so what I want you to know is that every day in this city, you know, we had a tragic incident just last evening, and fortunately the police officer who was engaged, I went into the ward, shock trauma, and I held his hand. And I said to him, I said, "I just want you to know that we believe in you. And we know that every day," and we've got more Latinos joining our police department than ever before. It is probably becoming one of the most diverse police departments in the country, and for that I'm grateful. But what I said to him, and I say to you all as family members, you know, every day our heart goes out to the streets of Baltimore when those police officers leave their home. You know, because we know that we're faced with many challenges in our city, but yet we're reducing violence in our city, something almost like 20% in almost every single category. But that's not enough, because one life lost in this city is one life too many. Illegal guns on the streets of our city is just unacceptable. No consequences for people's actions. And fortunately, last night, the police officer who was patrolling that part of the city happened to have on his bulletproof vest. Had it not been for that bulletproof vest, we would be having another story today. And, you know, I held his hand and he said, I'm Baltimore through and through. And I said, but what you're going to do is take a rest right now. And I tell folks it really is important how we treat the officers in our city, because we know that we're challenged, but at the same time, we know that there's commitment. You know, they say in every, you know, there always are some bad apples in the barrel, but when you think about 99, 95% of our police department are individuals, they come to work every day on behalf of the citizens of our city. And so we're going to continue to pray for them, work with them, because they're important to our communities. And I tell you, when I went to that last graduation class, the first Jewish police officer, you know, the first growth in terms of diversity, Latinos, no, the Jewish officer is actually in the fire department. So because we have certain hours that our police officers work, but the largest Latino population in our police department, more African Americans in our police department. So we're growing in diversity, but we're growing in diversity in terms of business in our community as well. And it is because of the leadership that is here, because we want you all to know that you need to be more and more part of the fabric of our city. The census is coming up this year, the census in 2020, but we're already putting together our census community and committee, because everybody needs to be counted. And we're fighting with the Attorney General. And as the chair of the U.S. Conference of Mayors Census Committee, I can tell you my message throughout this country is the same. It's not about citizenship, it's about where you live. Because when you live in a community and you live in a neighborhood, we are dependent upon federal funds to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make housing available, jobs available, equal access to opportunity available. And so we depend a great deal on those federal dollars. So we're going to be working with your community to make sure that we're doing this properly and we're doing it right. And we want to make sure, I don't know if you all knew this, but Baltimore is ranked in second place out of 100 cities for its immigrant integration policies. Now, we're working to be number one. And I have to point out that through the work of our team, most notable Baltimore's high scores on legal support, which reflects our efforts to increase access to immigration legal services. We have a Safe Cities program, and I invite you all to join us on October the 11th at the Southeast Enoch Pratt Library to learn about the impact of the program so far. I made Baltimore City Community College free, and I made it free because I want everybody in our city to understand that equal access to education and opportunity is foremost in the thought of my mind. What we do for our young people at their earliest age will change the trajectory of our lives. And when I walk by some of the public housing units and mothers come running out to me and saying, thank you. Thank you for making Baltimore City Community College free. And again, that is for every child graduating from our public institutions, for every child. We want to make sure that they have opportunity. And when I'm walking through the halls of some of our schools and children come running out and saying, thank you for making Baltimore City Community College free. And just the other day, I'm in the supermarket and the young lady who was waiting on me says, Mayor Pugh, I want you to know I'm a part of the Mayor's Scholars Program. I'm at Baltimore City Community College. And let me tell you what that means, you all. They've averaged some 200 students a year from our public schools going to Baltimore City Community College. This year, 545 students going to Baltimore City Community College. And here's the real deal, which is what really excites me. Because we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities after school programs, whatever needs to take place, we got to make it happen. This past summer, we put 9,000 young people who wanted to go to work this summer. But here's what I want you to know. There were 12,000 young people who went through the entire process. So that means there were 3,000 young people who didn't get to work this summer. And so we're working on programs to make sure, and I'll continue to raise money on their behalf, because the city doesn't get to do this work by itself. We depend so much on the business community, the private sector, the philanthropic community to make sure every child has equal access and opportunity. So we will grow that program. I tell folks that young people aren't standing on the corners doing squeegeeing just because they want to. You'd be surprised at the number of young people who stand there because they need to. But we've got to find better ways to create opportunities for our young people. And I say to folks, many of them are entrepreneurs in the making. So I'm creating a program that will focus on how do we get them off the corner into programs, opportunity to work, opportunity to grow their businesses. Just last week, we gave away almost $50,000 to young people between the ages of 14 and 21 who have ideas around creating their own businesses. Where does a 14-year-old go to get an investment? Well, now they can get it in Baltimore City. So we invested in a number of young people who are starting and expanding their own businesses. So again, I'm excited about the work that's being done here. I'm also excited about the awardees that are going to be presented this afternoon, because what that says is that you've gone above and beyond the call of duty to help your community, to help our community, to help our city. So this Hispanic Heritage Month is a great celebration for our entire city, because we get to celebrate your heritage. We get to share in your heritage. But more importantly, we begin to look at the diversity and the inclusion that needs to take place in our city, in our communities, in our state, and in our country. I always tell people it's like a great soup. The more in the mix, the better the taste. So, you know, this is really a wonderful gathering of individuals and community folks who understand diversity, inclusion, and what it can do for our city and what it does for our neighborhoods and communities. God bless you all. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you very much. This must be one good tasting soup, I tell you. We are seriously diverse, and on behalf of the Latino Providers Network, the members, the guests, we'd like to thank you for coming out. It's a pleasure to hear you say what you say and to focus on the young of our city that need so much is awesome. So it's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pugh. And now we will have Cindy present the awards.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cindy Klebeck. I am the Secretary-Treasurer of the LPN's Board of Directors, and I've decided to put the board members to work. So I'm going to be calling up 5 board members who are going to be reading the introductions of our wonderful award winners. And first up is going to be Eric Seymour.
Hi, everybody. I'm honored to announce that the first winner of this year's award is Jamie Savage from House of Ruth Highlandtown. Okay, in the words of her nominator, Jamie provides individual, group, and family therapy to Latino victims of intimate partner violence and their children. Jamie's commitment and compassion in working with the Latino community goes unmatched. She is so dedicated to the families she works with and goes above and beyond to get their needs met. She's been able to engage the community in seeking therapy for themselves and their children, which can be a very intimidating step to take, especially with families who are experiencing some sort of immigration action. I personally know Jamie from years back when she helped volunteer at the Esperanza Center and welcomed hundreds of individuals into the center over the course of her months with us. So on behalf of the LPN, thank you, Jamie.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce the next award because I know this person personally and I know her work. So this award goes to Scarlett Gonzalez from William Paca Elementary. In addition addition to her work supporting students academically at William Paca Elementary, Scarlett has worked to support families by coordinating numerous family meetings outside of work hours to ensure that families receive information about the school process and community resources to make sure that these families and her families have a voice in the community. She connected community members to resources that could provide them with food, clothing, assisted families with finding housing, and share information on the cultural differences in the United States. Scarlett is always sure to follow up with families to offer support when they need it. And a great example is after she worked helping a reunification of a family, she kept in touch with them and made sure that they got back on their feet. This shows how much she cares. I know she cares, and I can vouch for her work and her long-term support for the commitment and her commitment to the Hispanic community. So congratulations. I'm sorry, I'm a crybaby.
So our next recipient is Ashley DeLono with the Tahiri Justice Center. Where is Ashley? Welcome, Ashley. Yes, give her a nice round of applause. I apologize, I mispronounced it. It's actually Diano. I apologize. So Ashley is a dedicated advocate for Latina immigrant women in Baltimore. When she worked at Adelante Familia as a case manager, Ashley's passion for her work and her clients were incredibly evident. When someone came to the office seeking help, Ashley made sure they felt welcomed and supported, and even if they did not qualify for the services offered. Ashley made sure to spend a lot of time with clients, educating them about the dynamics of domestic violence, debunking false information and myths, and empowering the women to not only take control of their own lives, but also then to give back and help other Latinas in the same situation. Ashley is now the head of social services at Baltimore's Tahiri Justice Center, where she continues to advocate for immigrants who have been victims of gender violence. Ashley inspires others to not become pessimistic or cynical, but to always continue to have compassion and continue to believe that our clients are capable of achieving their goals and their dreams. Additionally, she has served on Maryland's Human Trafficking Task Force, working with other local providers to increase protections and services for victims of trafficking. There are countless Latinas in Baltimore who have counted on Ashley over the years for support and confidence, who now live safer and freer lives. Give a round of applause for Ashley.
All right, as if you haven't seen this guy enough today, I now bring up David Rosario, our wonderful board president.
Thank you, thank you. So, let's see if I have my glasses, because 52 has been rough. So this award, we want to present to Reina Gonzalez from the Access Partnership at East Baltimore Medical Center. Reina is a bilingual representative at the Access Partnership, also known as TAP program, at the East Baltimore Medical Center, and she makes a real difference in the Latino community every day. When a patient needs service that an organization does not provide, they know they can look to Reina as a resource. Reina is friendly and respectful, with warm and caring demeanor that immediately puts the patient at ease. Her work to assist uninsured community in the Baltimore area makes her a trusted member of the healthcare community, and other providers are thankful to have her as a resource that they know will do her best to get their patients the help they need. Reina Gonzalez.
It is my honor to give this next award to not only a good friend, but a tireless board member of the Latino Providers Network. This is Kate Jakuda. Kate currently works with the Southeast CDC and the Latino Racial Justice Circle. Kate has dedicated her entire professional career to the serving of the Latinx population in the Baltimore metro area. Through her work with EBLO, the House of Ruth Maryland, and the Southeast CDC, Kate has not only impacted the individual lives of Latinx families, but also the systems that support them. Kate's current position is a case manager at the Southeast CDC. She helps families in the Southeast Baltimore who are at risk of becoming homeless. Kate has been passionate about her enrolling immigrant families in the program. Due to her outreach efforts, the majority of the families in the program are Spanish-speaking immigrants. While Kate's work with individuals is worthy of recognition, her commitment to advocating for Latinx residents of Baltimore is what inspires others. She volunteers regularly for the Pro Bono Resource Center and the Esperanza Center, translating for volunteer attorneys during immigration consults. Kate is a leader with the Latino Racial Justice Circle, and she disperses funds raised by the group to help immigrant families obtain legal representation and is the liaison between the group and the attorneys who partner with them. Lastly, Kate is a dedicated and valued member of Latino Providers Network's Board of Directors. Somehow, she has found time to travel to Puerto Rico with other Baltimoreans to assist in the relief and rebuilding effort there. It is clear through her professional and volunteer work that Kate is passionate about increasing access to services and support for members of Baltimore's Latino community and beyond. Congratulations.
So we want to thank Madam Mayor for coming out, and we know that you are extremely busy. I can only imagine what it takes to run a city. So we understand, and we thank you for coming out. Thank you for your words. Just want you to know that the Latino community is here, as you know, and we are willing and able to work in Baltimore City, live in Baltimore City, and grow with Baltimore City. And once the Latino community gets stronger, Baltimore becomes better.
Yes.
Thank you.
Again, I can't thank you enough for being such an important part of the fabric of our city. And I also want you to remember, and I know you know this, that we have our first-time home buyers program, 5,000, right? And then if you work at Johns Hopkins, they add to it. University of Maryland is now adding to that as well. They have an $18,000 credit for folks who want to live in Baltimore. And now we have LifeBridge joining that same effort, another $18,000. That's in our neighborhood. So we're going to continue to grow and work with you. And again, you only make us better, you make us stronger. And thank you for your commitment.